You've seen her, brother. The flashing lights, the laughter, the perfect body moving in rhythm with the music. And you think she's the prize. Every man in the room does. But what if I told you? She's not the prize. You are. And the moment you start chasing her, you've already lost the game. She doesn't even consciously know she's playing. Modern psychology calls it intermittent reinforcement. It's the same mechanism casinos use to keep gamblers addicted. The possibility of reward, not the reward itself, is what keeps men hooked. And the party girl? She's mastered this art without ever studying psychology. She gives you just enough attention to trigger dopamine, then withdraws it to make you chase the high again. You're not chasing her. You're chasing the feeling she gives you. The illusion of being desired. This is where most men fall. They think they're competing for affection, when in truth they're trapped in a psychological loop of pursuit and deprivation. They confuse chaos for chemistry because modern men have forgotten what peace feels like. Every glance, every touch, every maybe text is designed, not intentionally, but instinctively, to keep you orbiting her world. And you call it attraction, but it's addiction. It's the psychological equivalent of chasing a mirage in the desert. The closer you think you get, the faster it disappears. Behind the makeup, the lights and the performance lies a deeper truth. The party girl doesn't love connection. She loves validation. She's not looking for a partner. She's seeking an audience, because deep down, attention has become her oxygen. She doesn't breathe in solitude, she suffocates in it. And yet, the more you give her what she craves, the less she respects you. Because to her subconscious, a man who chases is a man who doesn't have options. And a man without options has no power. This is where men lose themselves. They mistake attention for affection, chaos for charisma, and validation for value. But brother, the man who truly understands female psychology doesn't chase energy that drains him. He observes it. He studies it. Then he walks away, knowing his silence will echo louder than any words he could ever say. Because when you stop chasing the illusion, you begin to see the truth, and that's when your real power begins. Men don't fall for the party girl because she's deep. They fall because she's loud, because she represents everything their wounded ego craves: attention, beauty, validation, and chaos disguised as passion. You see, modern men are starving, not for love, but for significance. Most men move through life unseen, unheard, and unappreciated. Then one night, under flashing lights and cheap perfume, she looks at you, and for the first time in a long time, you feel like someone finally sees you. That look, that smile, that energy, it hits like a drug. And from that moment, your psychology begins to betray you. Clinical psychologist Dr. Helen Fisher once described romantic attraction as a dopamine-driven survival mechanism. It's not logic, it's chemistry. When you meet a woman who excites you, your brain floods with dopamine and norepinephrine, the same neurotransmitters that fire when gamblers pull a slot machine lever. The thrill isn't in the win, it's in the uncertainty. And the party girl is the embodiment of uncertainty. One night she's warm and affectionate, the next she's distant and mysterious. Your mind mistakes inconsistency for depth, because unpredictability feels like emotional gravity. Men chase the party girl because they confuse stimulation with connection. The loudness of her world, the nightlife, the attention, the drama, drowns out the silence inside them. And for a brief moment, she makes them forget how numb they've become. She mirrors what men secretly fear, being invisible. But here's the twist. The same woman who validates your worth in one glance is the same one who will destroy it in the next. Because her validation isn't rooted in your essence. It's rooted in your availability. She only gives energy to the man who gives the most, until a stronger energy enters the room. It's not evil, it's instinct. In evolutionary psychology, this is called hypergamy, the innate drive to secure the highest value mate available. And in today's culture, value is no longer strength or virtue, it's attention. Who commands the most eyes, who controls the narrative, who shines brightest under the artificial glow of nightlife. Men fall for the party girl because she embodies contrast. She's everything society told you to want: freedom, beauty, rebellion, yet everything your soul can't build a foundation on. And that's why the more you chase, the emptier you feel. She keeps you spinning in orbit, mistaking emotional turbulence for intimacy. But what feels like attraction is really a mirror of your unhealed hunger. The truth is, brother, the party girl is not the villain. She's a symptom, a reflection of a culture that's taught women to perform and men to pursue endlessly, both mistaking noise for love. But once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it. And that's when something inside you shifts. You stop asking, "Why won't she choose me?" and start asking, "Why am I drawn to the chaos?" Every chase comes with a price, and when you chase a party girl, you're not paying in money, you're paying in mental peace, because no man can keep his self-respect intact while chasing someone who feeds on attention like oxygen. At first, it feels exciting, the thrill, the unpredictability, the game. It all gives your brain a dopamine rush that masks what's really happening beneath the surface. You start to neglect your mission, your work, your discipline, because all your energy is now invested in her validation. You become emotionally hijacked, stuck in a constant loop of, "Did she see my message? Why hasn't she replied? Did I say something wrong?" Brother, that's not attraction anymore. That's addiction. Psychologists call this the anxious attachment cycle. It's the same mechanism that keeps addicts returning to toxic highs, even when they know it's killing them. You begin to internalize her inconsistency as a reflection of your worth. When she's warm, you feel alive. When she withdraws, you feel abandoned. It's not love, it's trauma dressed as romance. You start performing instead of being. You begin curating your behavior, your texts, your tone, trying to anticipate what version of you will keep her interested. And slowly, your authenticity dies. Because the more you chase someone who thrives on attention, the more you become a reflection of her world, not a man anchored in his own. This is the silent epidemic of modern men, losing themselves to the validation economy. Every story she posts, every glance you get, every crumb of attention feels like currency. You start competing in a game that was designed for you to lose, because no matter how much you give, she always needs more. More likes, more eyes, more proof that she still has power. And your reward? Occasional affection mixed with emotional chaos, just enough to keep you hooked. But here's the psychological truth most men don't want to hear. You cannot win a woman who doesn't value peace, because peace threatens her addiction to attention. And the moment you stop playing the game, she'll label you boring, distant, or emotionally unavailable. When in reality, you're simply no longer willing to feed her ego at the expense of your sanity. The cost of chasing her isn't measured in heartbreak. It's measured in focus, drive, and masculine energy lost. You begin to feel weaker, more reactive, more uncertain about your place in the world. Your confidence becomes conditional, dependent on her responses, her moods, her approval. And brother, that's not love, that's self-betrayal in disguise. But once you recognize that the high she gives you is just your ego chasing its own shadow, everything changes. You stop seeing her as a mystery to solve, and start seeing her as a mirror reflecting the parts of you that still crave external validation. And that realization, painful as it is, marks the beginning of your awakening. Here's the brutal truth. A woman can only respect what she cannot easily control. And the moment you start chasing her, she knows, consciously or not, that she owns your attention. That's when the power dynamic flips. The party girl doesn't seek love, she seeks leverage, because in her world, attention is status. It's not about connection, it's about hierarchy. Who gets the most looks, who gets approached the most, who can make the strongest men lose composure. And when you chase her, you confirm what she already believes, that she's the center of gravity. In evolutionary psychology, this is known as sexual selection signaling. Females signal value by showcasing desirability through beauty, charm, and social proof, while males compete for access. But in modern culture, that ancient wiring has been hijacked by social media and nightlife. The party girl doesn't compete for quality, she competes for visibility. And every man who chases her adds to her perceived worth. This is why she doesn't respect you when you pursue her. Because to her, every compliment, every drink, every attempt at validation only reinforces the hierarchy she's trying to maintain. Your desire fuels her identity. You become the background noise in the story she tells herself. The story where she's irresistible, untouchable, desired by all. She's not trying to connect, she's trying to be seen. And that's why indifference, not affection, unsettles her most. A man who doesn't chase breaks the rhythm she relies on to feel significant. He becomes unpredictable, and in her world, unpredictability equals power. When you stop chasing, she starts to notice you differently. Not because she suddenly loves you, but because you've stepped outside the orbit of her control. You become what Carl Jung called the individuated man, the man who no longer defines himself by external validation, but by inner sovereignty. Your energy shifts from seeking approval to radiating presence. And presence, brother, is the one thing she cannot fake or manipulate. That's when the paradox unfolds. The same men she ignored become the ones she now desires. Because your lack of pursuit signals abundance. It tells her, I have options, I have peace, I have purpose. You become the mountain, unmoved by her storms. The truth is, she doesn't respect the men who orbit her because they mirror her instability. They're reactive, emotional, constantly trying to prove themselves. But she respects, and secretly fears, the man who observes her performance without being seduced by it. Because that man exposes her deepest insecurity, that beneath the glitter and validation, she has no real power over a man who's mastered himself. The moment you stop chasing her, she's no longer the prize. You are, and every ounce of attention you withhold becomes a mirror forcing her to confront what she runs from, her own emptiness. Brother, let's stop sugarcoating it. The modern party girl isn't just lost, she's morally bankrupt, not in the religious sense, but in the psychological one. She's been conditioned to believe that attention equals worth, that pleasure equals power, and that loyalty is weakness. She doesn't build, she consumes. She consumes your time, your energy, your validation. And when she's done, she moves on to the next source of supply without remorse. Because in her mind, that's survival. Her world is transactional, not emotional. Every interaction is a subtle exchange. What can I gain? What can I extract? What can I feel right now? And once she's drained the thrill from your presence, she leaves, blaming boredom when it's really her inability to attach to anything real. You'll notice something about these women. They're surrounded by people, but deeply alone. They'll tell you they're independent, yet can't stand a night without validation. They'll post about self-love, yet every decision they make screams self-abandonment. Because deep down, there's no moral compass guiding them, only impulse. The kind of impulse that's been fed by social media, nightlife, and endless validation loops that reward superficiality over substance. A study from the University of Houston found that individuals who constantly seek external validation through social media engagement show higher rates of narcissistic traits and emotional instability. And this is exactly what you see in the party girl archetype. Her self-worth rises and falls with the attention she gets. Her morality isn't anchored in truth. It's anchored in what feels good in the moment. And when pleasure becomes the compass, destruction always follows. The party girl doesn't care about the consequences of her actions because her world doesn't operate on responsibility. It operates on dopamine. She lives for excitement, not integrity. She'll flirt with one man to make another jealous, sleep with a man she doesn't care about to feel powerful again, and manipulate emotions like currency to stay relevant. To her, love isn't sacred, it's a stage, and she's the main character, constantly performing for an invisible audience. This is why chasing her is spiritual suicide for a man of depth, because to pursue her you must lower yourself to her level, where meaning doesn't exist, where loyalty is a costume, and where morality bends to impulse. You'll find yourself arguing with emptiness, trying to reason with someone who feels but doesn't think. And you can't build a future with a woman who's addicted to her own destruction. A woman without values cannot honor a man with them. And when you give loyalty to a woman who worships chaos, she'll only see your devotion as weakness. Because in her mind, love isn't sacred. It's leverage. She doesn't love you for who you are. She loves what she can take from you before she moves on to the next source of attention. This is the truth most men don't want to face. She's not broken because she's misunderstood. She's broken because she chose to live without discipline, without self-respect, and without accountability. And no amount of love can fix a woman who benefits from staying broken. So stop trying to heal her. Stop trying to save her. Because the moment you stop chasing what drains you, you start attracting what strengthens you. Brother, there comes a point in every man's life when he must decide, will I keep chasing illusions, or will I reclaim my soul? You've seen the pattern now. The lights, the drama, the seductive chaos. It all leads to the same place, emptiness. The party girl is not your purpose. She's the test that reveals whether you've mastered your impulses, or if you're still ruled by them. Because the truth is, chasing women who thrive on attention doesn't just waste your time, it corrupts your spirit. You start thinking like them, acting like them, living for the next hit of validation. And before you know it, the man you once were, focused, grounded, powerful, is gone. You've become another face in the crowd, another man lost in the noise, another fool who mistook excitement for intimacy. But the sovereign man, the awakened man, sees through the illusion. He doesn't chase women, he attracts peace. He knows that real women, women of depth, loyalty, and feminine grace, are repelled by chaos and drawn to strength. He understands that his silence, his purpose, and his self-respect speak louder than any performance could. Because real power isn't in being wanted, it's in being selective. The man who knows his worth doesn't throw it into the crowd, hoping for applause. He walks alone, not because he's antisocial, but because his soul demands solitude over superficiality. He builds, he trains, he studies. He rises in silence, while others burn themselves out, chasing validation in the form of flashing lights and fake smiles. Brother, listen, the moment you stop chasing her, everything changes. Your energy comes back, your focus sharpens, you begin to walk differently. You speak less, but your words carry weight. Because when a man disconnects from the feminine chaos that once drained him, he becomes magnetic. Not from effort, but from alignment. You stop being a pawn in someone else's performance and start becoming the architect of your own life. You stop reacting and start creating. And that shift is everything. So let this be your wake-up call. Stop chasing women who use men as mirrors for their emptiness. Stop trying to prove your worth to people who wouldn't recognize value if it stood silently in front of them. Walk away from the noise, the flashing lights, and the illusion of connection, and walk toward discipline, peace, and purpose. Because when a man masters himself, The right woman won't need to be chased. She'll recognize the energy of a man who doesn't need validation, because he already is validation. Share this with a brother who needs to hear it, because too many men are still lost, giving their power to women who've done nothing to earn it. Help them see the truth. And if this message resonated with you, support the mission using the link below and subscribe to the channel. Together, we'll rebuild what modern culture tried to destroy: the rise of the sovereign man.